Hi, and welcome to another episode of Sustainment TV. I'm your host, David McDonald, and before we get into today's video, I wanted to encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to get your feedback, and it will also help the channel to grow. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the last few days it's been pretty hot, and I have friends who like to get out and do stuff. You wouldn't believe none of the big box stores have bikes, none of the big box stores have kiddie pools, a lot of people raising kids and whatnot. I didn't believe it until I saw it myself. I had a particular friend give me a call and was like, hey, went down to the store to try to pick up this pool. It wasn't there, and they tried to go online, through your large online retailers, and that same pool, same dimensions, had quadrupled in price than what they were going to get it for at the store. But since it wasn't available in the store, that's the only place that they could get it. So I was like, okay, well maybe there's something we could do about it. After doing some research, and the fact that they were willing to allow me to experiment with their money for supplies, I was like, hey, let's do this. So we're going to get into trying to construct a pool, nothing real big, a wading pool, somewhere around 18 to 24 inches, to try to do it for little to no money. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna try to look at what I have in my salvage wood piles and stuff before we make any purchases. So let's go outside now. I know I recently got a couple of older pallets and a couple of newer pallets. Here's the wood that I got from the older pallet. There was someone on the other side of town changing out their privacy fence. There are some older fence boards from another neighbor's house also. And then here's some pallets from a local exporter that are actually in real good shape. These are the pallet boards. They're about 7/8 inches thick. The dimensions of these are 45 inches long and 29 inches wide. Then of course here's my scrap pile from bunk beds and tables. So be back in a minute. With those 6 pallets that I had, I'm here in the backyard. After doing some research online, this is kind of like the frame or the meat and potatoes of what they say you could make happen. After consulting with my friend, I was told that this would be too big, but you can see this is 6 pallets that I got from free at an industrial park. This is about 4 feet wide and about 7.5 feet long. The depth would be about 2.5 feet. The idea behind this, put a waterproof tarp on the end. It would be the lining. You would have it go vertically on the walls as well as horizontal on the ground. You would start off with one tarp on the ground totally to cover any any thorns or whatnot. It could also help that you wouldn't have puddling under your structure. Have the one tarp come in. You could either secure it on top or maybe on the other side of it. What we're going to do is we're going to have to construct something a little smaller. The pool that we're going to have is going to be actually a little longer and a little wider, but it's not going to be as deep. I'll have to buy about 20 bucks of lumber, between 15 and 20 bucks of lumber at the local hardware store for the tops of my side walls and my end walls. And then for the vertical braces, I have plenty of scrap lumber from pallets that I've taken apart. The pool that we're doing is going to be 6 feet wide by 8 feet long, and it'll be 24 inches in depth. So I'm here in the backyard of the townhouse. So as you can see, it's a pretty small space to work with. The size they have chosen to go with is 6 feet long by 8 feet wide by 24 inches deep. I started on one. The 6-foot 2x4 boards for the walls, that's new lumber. The vertical braces are pallet wood. I just have this tacked together just to show you what it looks like. The vertical braces are going to be every 2 feet, so I'll go ahead and finish this one as well as the other 3, and I'll get back with you in just a moment. Alright, so as you can see, I got all 4 sides put together. 2 of the sides are 6 feet and 2 of the sides are 8 feet in length. The top and bottom of the walls is new lumber, and all the vertical braces is on pallet wood. I'm using 2.5-inch construction screws, number 8 screws, to put this together, so be back in a minute. Okay, as you can see, I have all 4 sides screwed together. It's basically framing for like a shed or a house or something. What we need to do now is I'll have to take apart some pallets. Well, at least if I'm trying to keep this little to no cost, what I have to do is try to fill in as much of the space as possible, so that way when we put, you know, our makeshift pool liner in, once it fills up with water, it doesn't try to push out in the gaps. So that's the next part of this process. So I'll show you what that looks like once I have it filled in. Here I have the ground liner underneath our structure, getting ready to go with the inner liner here in just a second. Give you a shot of that. This is a 6x8 enclosure. The tarp that I'm using for the bottom is a 7x9 tarp. The tarp that's going on the inside is 11x15. That will give us enough to be able to tie and tape on toward the top of the sides. We'll see how that goes here in just a second. The interior liner is within the enclosure now. What you want to make sure is that you have it down to where it's laying flat on the ground and it's also against the sides. Because if you don't, say if it's raised up and you step on it, you could possibly tear your tarp, tear your liner. So that's why you want to ensure that you have, you know, more than enough to go along the entire outline of the inside as well as up the vertical walls. In order to hold the liner in its place, have some cable ties to where the grommets are going to, once the wood trim is on the side, in order to dress this up, there'll be some hooks in which the liner can be secured. That'll be pretty much the same thing on all 4 sides. I guess if some of you are asking how would this be emptied, well, what you would do, ideally for this, with there being a slight incline to this side, you would simply take loose the liner from this portion, and then you would basically pull it back and the water could drain out. This enclosure is going to be a little bit over 700 gallons when full. So I'll give you another shot at it dressed up and full of water. Okay, so I want to give you another shot of the pool. I have the sides trimmed out with fence boards. At the time I wasn't able to locate any salvage fence boards, so I ended up going with new. But you know, obviously with these kind of projects, if time is not of the essence, you could probably find everything with the exception of the tarps. Probably find pretty much everything else for free. So want to give you a shot of it. It's getting ready to rain, so probably won't be filling it with water today, so the suspense will last a little longer, but I'll give you a shot of it once it has water in it. So here's a picture, or should I say a video, of the pool at about 70% capacity.
holding up pretty good. It's a hot day. Heat index is over 100, so I'm sure to get some use. The one thing that I do want to fix in the very near future on the initial drain is I want to make an adjustment to the inner boards to where there's no space. That way the liner doesn't pooch out with the expanse and the weight of the water to cause a premature leak. Probably the other thing I'll do on the initial drain is I'll also add an official drain plug. Those are pretty standard for something like this. So I hope you enjoyed the process of this pool. Capacity a little bit over 700 gallons. If you're trying to determine what size pool that you may want to do, it's pretty easy to come up with the capacity. You want to do length times width times depth times 7.5. So for this, it's 6 times 8. Excuse me, I'm sorry, you have to do that in feet, so I'm sorry. Yeah, so 6 feet times 8 feet times 2 feet times 7.5 comes up with a total of 720 gallons. This has actually got got the wheels turning to do a larger build at my own home where I have a little more space. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, Sustainment TV, and hope to see you again on the next one. Take care.